y'all. How are you doing? I'm great. Thank you so much for asking. It's me, Kim, and I am back for another paywall exclusive video. This is the revival, the renaissance of Breakfast with Kimberly. I've added all of these new little features to the paywall and memberships content lineup, but Breakfast with Kimberly is old school. And this is just me riffing on mess, but thoughtful riffing. You know what I mean? Thoughtful, intellectual riffing on trash. Let's talk about Bama Rush. The first thing that we are going to do is watch a little clip from the Bama Rush documentary from HBO Max. It really didn't go as deep or thoughtful as I feel like it should have. And there's a whole conversation to be had about the explosion of trash documentaries on these streaming services. But there was a little bit of historical context that I thought was really useful. So let's watch it.
The sororities really started along with co-education.
Who are you filming for?
All right.
We're gonna have to ask you to leave.
Okay, so that was, I think, a good introduction to the really bizarre, quasi-secretive, quasi-public sorority recruitment process at the University of Alabama. It has become the face of white sororities, and that has translated into the Bama Rush talk phenomenon. I call it season 3 because this is the third year that those of us who are way too fucking old to care are watching these girls show off their outfits. I'm watching the black girls, I'm gonna be honest with you, and kind of poking fun at their recruitment videos. Let's look at some of these videos. Okay, here's the Bama Rush Talk account. We can watch a couple.
Yeah, I got my girls.
What? I don't.
What is up, you guys? It has been a crazy 24 hours. Let's talk about it.
Oh, this is interesting. I haven't seen this one. Oh, okay. Let's give. Ooh. Well, before we listen to Morgan talk about this, I wasn't expecting this. I love when a stream takes me to an unexpected place, because Morgan is one of the was supposed to be one of the quote unquote faces, the new kinds of faces of Bama Rush, because she's not a stick thin, super rich, super blonde white girl. She even had this article written about her. We can read this. Bama Rush Talk is getting more relatable. Why relatable girls are winning this year. This is from August 18th, 2021. It is day 5 or 6 of Rush Week. I can't remember, Morgan Cadenhead says into the camera before sharing the details of her, quote, outfit of the day, hashtag, not quote. A black dress from Arula, black heels borrowed from her mother. Behind her, beige curtains cover the window of her bedroom, and a gray comforter is spread over the bed. The floor is covered in pillows and clothes, a messiness she addresses head on. I'm sorry about my room. My mom said I wasn't allowed to film if it was dirty, but I ain't cleaning it. Welcome to hashtag Rush Talk 2023, the 3rd annual frenzy centering on the sorority rushing process at the University of Alabama. Each year, sorority hopefuls share daily TikToks detailing the event, creating a sort of reality show in which they are both the producers and the stars. Viewers follow along obsessively as the PNMs, potential new members, for those of you who aren't hashtag Rush Talk literate, share their outfits of the day. Brands capitalize on the excitement by picking favorites and sending PR packages. And finally, the sororities made their picks. In years past, the stars of Bama Rush TikTok have been girls immaculately decked out in designer duds, whose curls fall perfectly around their tan shoulders. But this year, it's different. Some of the biggest stars taking over everyone's For You page are more relatable than straight up aspirational. Cadenhead, whose TikTok handle is On the Daily with Morgan. That's a long ass handle, Morgan. Lord. Okay. On the Daily with Morgan is one of the undeniable breakout stars of this season of hashtag Rush Talk. In her first video about the process, Cadenhead says she went to start a new trend, Relatable Rush. Me show you my Rush bag, she says, referencing the videos other creators make detailing what they stock their often $100 bags with. Among the products sometimes included are designer lipsticks, mini fans, and pocket-sized straighteners for emergency hair touch-ups. Ooh. Oh, actually, I do have a pocket-sized straightener. Cadenhead contains a singular Tide pen and dirt, she says, to keep the Tide pen company. In the comments section, her authenticity and relatability is lauded. You are a breath of fresh air, one reads. You are TikTok's top Rush girly, says another. Cadenhead, 18, is surprised to find herself as one of Bama Rush TikTok's main characters. In her videos, she swigs from a jug of orange juice, buys makeup at CVS, and blinks sleepily into the camera from under her covers. For her, being at Bama has been a lifelong dream that she's worked hard to get. Cadenhead dual enrolled during high school and reached graduation with an Associates of Arts degree under her belt. When she graduates from Alabama, she'll be the first person in her family to have completed a degree at a university. Though she's taken aback by her popularity, it also makes sense to her, she tells Teen Vogue. When you look at somebody online, you're really trying to find a little piece of yourself, she says. I'm like the average Joe of the bunch. There's a reason why so many people are comforted by Cadenhead cracking the perfect veneer of Bama Rush, says Jesse Gold, MD, MS, an assistant professor of psychiatry at Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis. There's a psychological component to seeing yourself reflected back through content, Gold says. You feel less isolated and validated. Okay, let me just, editor Kimberly is saying, because that is the exact same thing that Morgan just said in the paragraph before, you should have picked a different quote from Morgan with different verbiage or a different quote from Jesse Gold. Okay, sorry. But the same thing that makes Cadenhead so popular is somewhat of an insecurity. I know I'm not as polished as the other girls, she tells Teen Vogue. I was going to have runny makeup or something. That wasn't typically what I'd seen with other Rush girls. Despite Cadenhead's popularity, hashtag Rush Talk is still replete with girls heading to sorority row wearing Dior, Chanel, and Louis Vuitton with makeup that rivals the professionals. One TikTok account at Bama Rush Talk 1 is dedicated to cost breakdowns. Ooh, I'm sorry. We're going to have to look at that one. Let me open up that one. Okay. Y'all take a break because I want to know. Okay, I had to pull up that link. Okay. It's dedicated to cost breakdowns of the outfits the girls feature in their hashtag OOTDs. One outfit's estimate tops out at over $12,000, and videos regularly feature Cartier rings estimated to cost over $2,000, and Golden Goose sneakers with a price tag of nearly $600. I need them to announce what their parents do for a living with their OOTD. One commenter says, and in the avalanche of videos featuring the casual decadence of Tiffany & Co. necklaces and Burberry skirts, Cadenhead's videos stand in stark contrast. I'm broke, she shrugs. You want to know what I have to eat? Ramen. You want to know what I'm sick of eating? Ramen. Bella Grace Gates. That sounds like a rich name. Bella Grace Gates sounds like my daddy has money. Okay. Another star of this season of hashtag Rush Talk looks like what you might imagine. Why did I can tell from the name. That sounds like a rich white 18-year-old girl's name. It does. Okay. Looks like what you might imagine a University of Alabama sorority girl to look like, with her perfectly styled blonde hair and Lily Pulitzer dresses and bedspread. Still, fans say her authenticity and wholesome nature make her stand out. In one video, the 18-year-old reads a motivational card her mother wrote from the point of view of their dogs. We're buddies, mainly because I think we both have a lot of anxiety, she says, unwrapping a pillow printed with the image of her rescue dog, Mabel. She tears up talking about how much she misses her mom and gets honest about feeling self-conscious. I just am so hard on myself, she says in one clip. I just want to make everyone around me proud of me. Bama Rush TikTok isn't usually a place where girls cry on camera about their insecurities or being away from their moms, but things are different on Bella Grace Gates' page. Gates tells Teen Vogue that high school wasn't the best time for her. Okay, Bella. I didn't really find my people, she says, in her hometown in Michigan, where most of her peers went to in-state colleges after graduation. Gates saw moving to Alabama as a fresh start. You have to be a specific kind of white person to move to Alabama to go to the it's a specific kind of white. Okay. Gates saw moving to Alabama as a fresh start. Getting a scholarship helped make the decision easier, as did her boyfriend committing to play baseball at the University of Alabama, Birmingham, just 45 minutes from the Tuscaloosa campus. Even still, Gates was nervous heading into Rush Week. I don't own a ton of name brand things, she says, referencing previous years of hashtag Rush Talk, where designer brands reign supreme. Before I posted on Rush Talk, I had 27 followers on TikTok, and 23 of them were bots. But Gates' disarming, open nature immediately enthralled viewers, many of whom crowned her the co-queen of Bama Rush Talk, alongside Cadenhead. Gates isn't sure why people love her. Mostly, she hopes her videos reach girls who need them. Girls like her who are self-conscious and worried and in need of a little guidance. She wants to show them that the doubt they're feeling is normal. If you're wondering if the two main characters of hashtag Relatable Rush have met, they have. Morgan even brought Bella Grace a small cake with candles spelling out 100, sitting on top to signify Bella Grace's passing of 100,000 followers on TikTok, and a Spider-Man backpack that Bella Grace says is going to be my rush bag for sure now. Cadenhead says her new friend is the sweetest person I've ever met, and it pours out of her. Watching her videos is like watching the little sister you wish you had. I just feel like she gives this childlike, aren't y'all the same age? Innocence that isn't typically seen in the Rush Girl appearance. While Gates says she doesn't know why her content is viral, but she immediately saw why people were drawn to Morgan. Every potential new member wants to appear perfect, but Morgan is like, okay, I'm okay not being perfect, Gates says. To try to appear perfect is tiring. Morgan is the girl that I think everyone wishes they had as a friend. Rush Talk is still Rush Talk. It's filled with perfectly curled hair, expertly done makeup, and clothes plucked off a designer rack. But the two breakout stars of this season are Cadenhead and Gates. In their own ways, they've broken the perfect veneer of Rush and shown viewers something messier and more relatable. As a psychiatrist, Gold finds the relatability of Rush Talk's main characters to be a sign of positive change. It means we're okay with seeing ourselves reflected in a way that isn't the ideal, she says. It means we're okay with being human. Shout out to Teen Vogue. I really enjoyed that article. I think that it gave an insight into what we hope Rush Talk is evolving into. But I also think that the actual outcomes of Bama Rush show how, you maybe hope for things to change and evolve, for all girls to have equal opportunity to this sisterhood. And really, it's that the sororities, the white sororities and fraternities are the gateway to social life on those campuses. So you want you want to feel good and feel like everybody holding hands and whatever. But as we just learned, Morgan was not actually successful. So I want to go back and hear her talk about her experience. Okay.
Days, they truly do mean more than you will ever. What is up, you guys? It has been a crazy 24 hours. Let's talk about it. So my parents came down to visit me and they brought some medicine with them for my cough. I'm still not used to the environment here, so still getting used to it. But it's been working, so I have hope that I'll kick this cough in the next few days and be better before school starts. And I just wanted to say that I'm so unbelievably grateful and thankful for all of your messages and kind words to me over these past few days. They truly do mean more than you will ever know. I am just so unbelievably thankful. They've been so amazing in helping me, and they mean a lot to me. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I absolutely love them and I love reading them. And yeah, I also wanted to say that I am so happy for Bella and her getting Pi Phi. I know that she really, really wanted that house, and I was so happy to see that she got it. And the same goes for everyone in my Rokai group. They all got all the houses they wanted, and I'm just so happy for them to see them get the houses they wanted and to join the sororities that they really wanted. I'm so happy for them, and I can't wait to see what they do next. And yeah, I'm gonna be okay. I just want to hop on and let you guys know that I'm fine. I'm gonna be fine, and yeah, I will see you guys around campus.
Okay, look, those old white traditions and institutions are not gonna have no drastic changes. To be quite honest, the drastic change at the sororities and the rush, the recruitment at the University of Alabama over the past decade was letting Black girls in. That's the monumental transformation. It ain't gonna mean much more transformation after that. I think that there is something here, and this is just me theorizing and analyzing on the fly, because I don't follow, but I've kept up with a couple of the Black girls who rushed and actually got into houses, and that's a particular kind of Black girl. And this is not me saying that class trumps race. It doesn't, because we know race and class are intertwined. But, you know, it's class, race, and also beauty, which is the primary commodity that women have access to. If they're gonna shimmy over into letting the Negroes in, they're not gonna all of a sudden become egalitarian and say class doesn't matter. And they're not gonna also wake up one day and be like, oh, let's let in a bunch of people who are not, quote unquote, traditionally attractive. It's the very thin, traditionally attractive Black, like that is all we're getting from University of, like, and even that took 100 years. Like, so yeah, I feel for Morgan. I feel for the way that people projected all of their hopes and their dreams onto her. And I'm sure it's so hard to deal with navigating people being so invested in you. But also, the other thing is, it's not just that the class politics and the beauty politics of these sororities not changing. Like, it's just, it is what it is. It's also, you know, in going through some of those TikToks over the past couple of days, you want to shine, but you don't want to shine too bright. And I get nervous when I see girls who are out. Do I really get nervous? This is analytical Kim talking, because I'm really not that invested. But I get a feeling when I see girls who already exist outside of the stereotypical University of Alabama sorority girl mold getting too much shine. You're already transgressing the boundary in one way, okay? But then you're getting popular off of the fact that you transgressed the boundary. That creates animosity. That creates resentment. And it's like that girl, Michaela, what was that, in season 1? Or was it season 2? You know, the mixed girl, Michaela, who was blowing up, and then she got dropped. It is not surprising to me. Let's watch some more of these TikToks just to see. I just want to see. We're just going to watch a few.
Good morning, guys. Today is day 6 of Alabama Rush and day 2 of Sisterhood.
You a Zeta at the University of Alabama, please come to the stage for a roll. University of Alabama, please come to the stage. You a Zeta at the University of Alabama, please come to the stage for a roll.
These are the girls who made it.
Queens of the road, check. Good grades on exam, check. You can't go a day.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
This is Bella Grace.
You a Zeta at the University of Alabama, please come to the stage.
Now there's a look. There's a look.
Queens of the road, check. Good grades on exam.
You a
Hey y'all, so today is fit day, so I have to show my outfit. So my hat is Zeta, my shirt is Zeta. Hey y'all.
Play this happily. I'm in love with an alpha beat. Stick it to a 9. Bring it back to me. Play.
Rise and shine. Today's Saturday, the first day of Rush. Rise and shine.
Okay, 2 more.
Hey guys, Bama Rush Day 1 OOTD. Michelle, my earrings are Amazon.
Play this happily. I'm in love with an alpha beat.
We're done.
Stick it to a 9. Bring it back to me. The boy named Skrilla got the rhapsody.
Those videos, there is a look. I saw a tweet the other day that said, which I've said this before, but the tweet said, blonde hair is the white people equivalent of colorism, which is like, it's true. It's true, right? Like blondes are the white American beauty ideal still. We had, that little tiny Kim Kardashian deviation. But still, for most of white America, it is thin, big boobies, blonde. We saw one brunette, maybe 2 brunettes in there. So anyways, that was that. I'm sorry, now I want to look at the account that goes through how much their stuff costs. You don't have to have money to go through the Rush process, but you do have to have money to participate in a sorority. It's expensive. So that's why we're seeing all these Cartier bracelets and Cartier rings and David Yurman jewelry. And I saw one girl wearing a Rolex. Hey, T, wearing a Rolex.
I'm so sorry if I don't say that right. My earrings are Stephanie Summers, and they're from Henry's Cloud9. And then I kept it simple with jewelry. Tiffany, Dior, David Yurman. Everybody have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I love y'all. Bye.
Hey guys, I'm rushing at the University of Alabama this fall, so I'm going to show you guys what's in my Rush bag. So first I have this really cute notebook and then I have this little clear water bottle with liquid. Then I have this portable fan, it's like a, and then I have my makeup bag, and in it I'm keeping this travel size makeup. I also have sunscreen in it. It's just sunscreen that's powdered, so it doesn't make you oily, and then you just brush it on. And then I also have these Dior wipes for when. And then this is my little mirror for makeup, and then I'm just keeping my Dior lip gloss in it. And I also have this, which is and then this is my umbrella. It's really cute. I love that it's pink.
Oh, wait a second. I want that little mini umbrella now. Oh my, this is like a baby bag. Where are you going? Okay. Oh, this is it. This is good. This is good. This is good. Okay. Look at this, dude. Oh, there's a lot of comments here. Okay. As a non-American, what is the point of a sorority? What are the benefits? Okay. This is a good question. So, the social life of colleges, and especially those big Southern schools, I don't know if you consider Oklahoma to be the South, but that's, where I spent my adolescent years. The social life and the power and the hierarchy for white people is concentrated in the sorority fraternity culture. They are the center, they are the nucleus, everything else is outside of that. And so if you want to make sure you have a quote unquote great traditional college experience, being recruited into one of those sororities is essential. Now, I'm sure that you can have a great, I'm trying to think of, do I know people who were not in a sorority? Because, I grew up in quote unquote wealthy suburbs in Oklahoma and North Texas. I'm not even sure if I know I want to say 90%. I want to say 80 to 90% of the white girls that I interacted with and went to high school with were in a sorority, because you want to have fun, you want to have access to the boys, access to the parties, quote unquote sisterhood, quote unquote network, or whatever. That's the thing. The other thing about the white sororities is after graduation, that shit falls apart. You know, it's not like the Black sororities and fraternities. My thought is, okay, Gabby, honestly, my thought is, if she is broke, how is she going to afford being in the sorority? That's a good point. She seems like a nice girl. Morgan was possibly pushing back on the white feminine ideal while hoping it would get her a spot. Yeah, that's not really how white femininity works, though, you know? Especially old, white, moneyed femininity. They're not really trying to be transgressive in that way, you know? Like, these are the Trump voters. Do they pay to stay in the sorority? Yes, they pay a lot of money. Even if you don't stay in a sorority house, they're just general dues. I know fraternities and sororities are intertwined, but don't frats have a really bad reputation? Why would they want to marry them? I mean, girl, good old-fashioned patriarchy. Look, white women understand the power, especially those kinds of white women understand the power of patriarchy. That's when, you know, when I talked about that whole, you know, being good, quote unquote, good won't get you wifed or whatever. And people were like, well, why do women even want to get married? Because still in a patriarchy, so much of your survival and access to resources depends on being able to attach yourself to a man. And respect in the South depends on being able to attach yourself to a man. That white culture is still very much like that. It is very normal to be my age, frankly, and be single in Black culture, even uppity Black culture. It is not normal to be my age in uppity white culture and never have been married. As I mentioned before, I know women who are on their third marriage in their mid-30s. And by no, I mean, I see them on Facebook. We became Facebook friends in high school, and I see you every once in a while. Dr. Tressie McMillam Cottom, and her article about Bama Rush, has her getting attacked again about mentioning blonde. Oh, she made an article about it? I want to pull that up. Isn't it a stat that 85% of the Fortune 500 executives belong to a fraternity? I 100% believe that. 100, and again, you know, that's where good old boys club, you know, comes from, in the old boys network. Like, I completely believe that. Age 30, white women will have been proposed to 5 times. I am gonna look up Tressie McMillam Cottom, Bama Rush, because I want to read that and read it together. Girl, we're gonna be on here all day. Sorority rush is a tradition at many colleges, but in the South, rush inspires the same passionate zeal as collegiate football. Thanks to TikTok, the University of Alabama's incarnation of that tradition, peak neo-antebellum white Southern culture on display, is now a global phenomenon. Since it entered the zeitgeist in 2021, millions of people have followed Bama Rush as if they're royal watching through mason jar-tinted glasses. What a sentence. When a small phalanx of white co-eds in Tuscaloosa self-organizes under the Bama Rush banner to promote their sorority, they are battling for ritual supremacy. The current sorority members choose coordinated outfits like crop tops and tennis skirts for synchronized dance routines to promote their chapters on TikTok. There was a lot of hair in these videos, standardized for length and blonde in ratios, impossible without chemical intervention. It swings exuberantly, signaling good health and traditional femininity. Their robotic dancing to hip-hop songs showcases gymnastic athleticism instead of looser routines made for the club. They keep time, but even the fact that they aren't clapping on the 1 and 3 seems intentional. Being cute rather than sexy protects them from the dreaded label trashy. Walking that fine line without mussing their hair is a part of the popular appeal. The Rushies who wish to join the dancers' ranks give daily reports with noticeable twang on what they are wearing. Their southern accents are the linguistic equivalent of pointing a ring light at their shining hair and tasteful makeup. The sororities purport to make these videos to attract the highest quality Rushies, but they have found a wider audience. For a mainstream culture struggling to adapt to the ways that gender is exploding all around them, that accent is seductive. It says that these are ideal women from a regional culture that values traditional gender norms, and people cannot get enough of it. As for myself, I'm proud to say that my TikTok algorithm has not delivered me any Bama Rush videos. All my exposure has been secondhand. My friends who love true crime podcasts were excited for the documentary from Rachel Flight, Bama Rush, that was released on Max earlier this year. My feminist academic friends forwarded me Bama Rush memes during a recent faculty dinner to dissect the kitschiness of sorority micro-celebrities. And Helen Peterson, a culture writer, has been obsessively now. I love me some Anne Helen Peterson. We gotta go there. Bama Rush 2023, like we're a 400 level sociology class, as she recently put it on Instagram. A lot of my worlds are collapsing into the Bama Rush phenomenon, yet I am in Bama Rush's blind spot. I assume I don't get Bama Rush videos on my social media feeds for the same reason that I would not have been an ideal Bama Rush candidate when I was a co-ed. Bama Rush is very, very white, and my algorithms are programmed for me, someone who is not. Fleet's documentary touches flight, probably EI, flight, touches on the inherited culture and code of conduct that filters for the right type of young woman, thin, able-bodied, athletic, and yes, in most cases, white, to rush at the University of Alabama. Seeing that culture rendered so explicitly primes the progressive impulse to call for diversity. Absolutely not. It feels like the response to the vague, unsettled feeling that something is wrong with Bama Rush. It could be the hair or the matching outfits or the accents, but it is clear from watching Rush Talk that there are a lot of young white women involved. We fixate on that and haphazardly reach for the diversity hammer in our progressive toolkit without thinking through why that lack of diversity exists in the first place, or what it tells us about the American South. Despite, and not that one black girl, the black girls have a look. Despite alumni and cultural pressure to maintain tradition, there have been a handful of attempts to integrate sorority rush at the University of Alabama over the last three or so decades. This is an exemplar of the Faulkner adage that the past is never dead. When it comes to our willful collective amnesia about racism, the past isn't even past. Most recently, the university pushed to integrate the Greek system in 2013, the year the U.S. Department of Justice inquired about allegations of race discrimination in Alabama's Rush process. Still, in 2022, almost 85% of the sorority members in the Alabama Pan-Hellenic Association, comprising most of the university's sororities, were white, a percentage disproportionate to the racial makeup of the university and the state. Definitely the state. Okay, Alabama's like 30 to 40% Black. Okay, consider the university's failed attempts to integrate Rush in concert with its comfort with the social media blitz. While there is no definitive proof of causation between the Bama Rush popularity and the University of Alabama's fiscal health, the university is coming off record enrollment in 2022, even as the general higher education climate in the United States is being roiled by crises. Alabama's cousins in Florida are dealing with a hostile political leader and takeover of their curriculum. West Virginia is facing fiscal insolvency of its flagship public university. The general public's faith in higher education is waning. Whatever the individual's politics, for too much of the public, higher education's complex problems are reduced to culture wars about diversity. Gender studies or critical race theory, which have become the brands of many elite Northeastern schools. In this climate, these sororities' annual viral juggernaut is counter-programming to the Northeastern elite university brand for sure. The Bama version is wholesome, non-threatening, traditional femininity, and Lululemon athleisure for free. Welcome to Emotional Labor 101, Bama Rush ladies. You already aced it. These young women's world, which exists outside the frame of a TikTok video, deserves to be taken seriously. Their emotional labor moves a lot of capital, and their sorority system is a legitimate status culture, just like fraternities and sports leagues with a clear hierarchy. The top dogs get more privileges and honor than the lesser-ranked sororities. To defend their position, sororities have a code of conduct to keep its sisters and the wannabes in line. how to talk, how to dress, how to act, and most important of all, how to aspire. The code is so elaborate that aspiring pledges can hire Rush coaches to learn exactly what it takes to be the right kind of woman. It boils down to performing hyperfemininity and settling for referent or secondhand authority while deferring to masculine power. The cute dances and OOTDs also reveal how complicated it is for today's young women to live feminist lives. Rushies are cautioned not to speak of boys during Rush, but that is a silence that screams. As becomes clear over the course of Flight's documentary, what men might want from these young women shapes their beauty standards and obsession with weight and career plans and outfits and friend groups. It determines the sorority's rank, the value of its members, and its ultimate power to influence the campus culture as future alumni. The Deep South sorority culture gets its power from the rewards that come from compliance. Yeah. Love a sentence. Yeah. You get cool campus housing, cool friends, study buddies, social invitations, a defined dating pool, and maybe a little social media fame. The rewards don't stop at the edge of the campus. Sorority members anywhere come with networks that can grease the machinery of mobility. But in the Deep South, of which Alabama is a cultural and geographic linchpin, the sorority system carries greater influence. It gets you close to the women who are close to the men who tend to dominate the state's network power. At Alabama, that power is most visible in the form of the machine, the university's not-so-secret society that extends the power of the many predominantly white fraternities and sororities it represents. The machine is like the mob with training wheels, teaching the fine art of political influence through campus elections and grooming university student leaders for politics and industry. Greek life and the machine do the same work that supper clubs and social clubs and secret societies do at elite universities and boarding schools in every privileged enclave across the country. When you think of fraternities and sororities as the gateway to a seat at the table that manages the social reproduction of the entire region's cultural, economic, and political elite, rushing is serious business. Young women know that. For 20 years, they have outpaced their male peers in educational attainment and achievement. Today's traditional-aged female college student could be inheriting up to 4 generations of gendered expertise on navigating higher expectation, the bureaucracy of achievement. Progressives and conservatives have at least one thing in common. For decades, both sides have told young people that going to college overdetermines their life's trajectory. They must amass all the power and wealth they can in one shot, or their lives will be abject failures. For women, there is the added burden of amassing all the economic capital possible, while also earning all the social capital to be desired. But also, social capital and economic capital are inextricably linked, right? Joining an elite sorority solves multiple problems at one time. It gives you a college cohort, seeds your LinkedIn connections, and grooms you into the ideal partner for the men who are joining the fraternities. Elite status cultures invest a lot in marriages, and that is no different in the South. For all the sorority sisters talk about bonding and lifelong friends, the power of these sororities is not sisterhood. It's the brotherhood that desires it. Bama Rush codifies the many incentives behind marrying power and turns them into a long audition to become a handmaiden to patriarchal privilege. Becoming pretty enough to sit at the right hand of machines that chew up history in the future is not my idea of getting ahead. Well, that's the difference between white feminism and black feminism. One biracial Rushie in Flight's documentary discovers the true qualification to this culture when joining the sorority does not get her the same male attention as her white sisters. Even if you could integrate Bama the brand, you cannot integrate Bama the social reproduction machine. The impulse to diversify Bama Rush got me thinking about the book Elite Capture. Author Olufemi Otewo's thesis is that radical terms d'art like identity politics and racial capitalism have lost their radical potential. They are victims of elite capture, the process by which the nominal winners of our system strip the terms down to a brand. In the case of, quote, integrating Bama Rush, no one is talking about the radical roots of integration. They don't even mean integration as an accommodationist principle. They mean the neoliberal branding of integration as cosmetic diversity. That would look like adding a few plus-size bodies, a racially ambiguous but non-white young woman, and some dark hair here and there, and calling that fixing Bama Rush for our new sensibilities. We can quibble about whether integration ever had a hope of being radically transformative, but it was more radical in practice than its mealy-mouthed descendants, diversity and inclusion. But reaching for the diversity canard to fix our discomfort with Bama Rush content is an overreach. This is Alabama, the University of Alabama. This is the university where George Wallace infamously stood in the classroom doorway on the first day of class in 1963 to block Vivian Malone and James A. Hood from matriculating. You look at the images from that period of massive resistance to school integration, at the crowd shots of young white men and women chanting at Vivian and James, who are flanked by the National Guard as they broker integration with their lives. The idea that joining a sorority is integration feels hollow, but especially at a place where integration once felt so much. It might be reasonable to want everyone to have access to what Bama Rush promises, but the sorority does not have the power to confer it. Not really. It can only brand it, and if it works really hard and looks pretty while doing it, can grow up to marry it. And I ask, why would anyone want to integrate that? Sometimes the proper place for something is the past, and the thing just does not yet know it. Oof, love a writer. Love a writer. There's some great sentences there. Okay, the last thing, I wasn't even expecting to talk about that, but y'all are smart. Okay. The fact that they are getting these proposals also shows how important marriage is to white men as well. Absolutely. Okay, so, we understand that Bama Rush ultimately is about power. It's about the consolidation and reproduction of white feminine power, but white feminine power does not exist without white patriarchal power. They're inextricably linked, and that means white supremacist capitalist patriarchal power. Okay, so that's that. Why are we as old ass people obsessed with this? I absolutely agree with Tressie. She brought up something that I hadn't really explored deeply, but yes, we're having all of these battles, particularly in, the South, but all across the country, about gender studies, about trans inclusive media, but also, non-gender bathrooms, and do teachers have the right to talk to your kids about gender and call them by their chosen name and all of that. There is a neoconservative safety and appeal of these women who are not questioning gender, normative gender at all. It is safe. It is easily consumable. It is easily commodifiable. Absolutely. I also think that there is something about people are still obsessed with youth. I think the way that we engage with youth is shifting, but youth and youthful, quote unquote, beauty is always going to be a draw. I think that old people are still obsessed with reliving their youth and trying to reclaim their youth and living vicariously through youthful people. And so if you are a college graduate, you look at these girls and you can easily think back to when you were in college or what you experienced. And of course, I do this all the time. Nostalgia is very, very powerful. And we live out our desires and our dreams and also our regrets through nostalgia. I think that they connect us to that. I also think that a concern, not just about Bama Rush talk, but just generally the way that people transitioning from adolescence into adulthood use social media is, it's not just that they are capturing these moments just to capture them. It's that every single part of your life, every single milestone has to be a branding opportunity. So you are capturing it, right? Like when I was in college and high school, really college, we brought, this is old bitch shit, okay? We brought digital cameras to parties, okay? And we would wear the digital cameras around our wrists, like little wristlets, okay? And you're in the party and you're dancing, and then you see your friend like, and then you go, oh, let me get mine. Okay, you're taking the picture, and then you're having fun. They're like, smile, girl, and you're taking the picture, and you're capturing the moment, and it's like in a part of the joy is capturing the moment, like, oh my God, you just put the flash on in the middle of the party. And then you can't wait for the next morning at brunch or whatever, Sunday brunch, to be like, where are you going to upload those pictures? Like, I want to see, like, there's so much joy. There was so much joy and fun in the anticipation of waiting to like upload and let me see. And I didn't even know you got that. That's crazy, right? But when we were doing that, there was no expectation that this stuff would be for public consumption. It was intra-communal consumption, and for inside jokes and for, especially, the Facebook days, everybody you're connected to. And maybe like, a friend of a friend, but it's not like the world, And so you understand that it's necessarily limited. There is something different from people, and I'm not saying this to like fearmonger, like I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying it's fundamentally different when in the moment, as you're capturing those moments and uploading those moments, you're doing it with the understanding, anticipation, and maybe like the hope that this will be for the world, that the world will want to consume you, that the world will want to give you brand deals because you are brand. Self-consciously branding yourself in the moment as a post-adolescent is different. And I don't, again, because it's just different, I don't want to say whether it's good or bad. I would say a potential concern is 19-year-old Kimberly ain't the same brand as 34-year-old Kimberly. I felt a lot the same way, but I am glad that the down moments, the downtime, the fun, the quote unquote fun time is not explicitly connected to 34-year-old Kimberly personal brands. Now, I was doing quote unquote professional work, and, of course I started for her when I was 21, but that was curated. There was a mission. It was a vision. It was, I'm glad that I did not feel pressure and I did not participate in a push toward, as I was trying to figure out who I was as a person, also trying to manage my public persona and public expectation. Because I think that doing that work simultaneously, trying to figure out who you are as a person and who you are as a brand simultaneously, it doesn't work too well. And I think we have enough examples of how that does not work too well that we would just be naturally concerned. Because that's what child stars do. And Beyonce and LeBron James are outliers. Most of them people are fucked up because it causes a cognitive dissonance. I think I'm fascinated by the access to importance and power that I never had. You are watching girls as they go on a well-planned and prepared life of white success. Yeah, but I think, that is true. But look, that's one mode of it. But I cannot really sit here as a person who carefully strategized how I was going to go to Harvard when I was 12. Like, people do that. All kinds of people do it in all kinds of ways. This is just if you have access to idyllic white femininity, that's that way. All right, so that was that. Okay, the last thing on this, why am I taking so much time on this? So we're gonna skip the parents hire $4,000 sorority consultants. I did want to look at some of the negresses who are in the sororities, and then we'll move on.
I like to rush as an African American, especially at the University of Alabama. If you guys didn't know, my mom was an Alpha Kappa Alpha at NIU. I decided to join Zeta Tau Alpha here. Also, AKA is a D9 sorority. I'm in Panhellenic. But I will get more into that later. So, why did I rush? Honestly, I have nothing against D9 sororities, and there's no real reason why I rushed instead of pledging. It's just a decision that I made. I knew I wanted to do it, especially if I came here. Honestly, if I did not go to the University of Alabama, I probably would have not rushed. But I'm so glad that I did. I didn't really know what to expect just because I didn't grow up around people who did rush Panhellenic sororities. So I was a little unprepared. Not unprepared, but I didn't know what to get. I ended up spending way more money than I had to on rush dresses and accessories and stuff like that. I really do recommend looking at the days and the dress codes for each day to base your outfits off of. Maybe an extra here and there. I also didn't really think about shorts, skirts for the rounds that you're wearing your Panhellenic t-shirt. So do think about that. It's not just about dresses. And honestly, I could have worn such cheaper items.
Okay, this is boring to me. Sorry.
Dresses that I didn't need to.
Okay.
Are you ready? Oh, is you ready?
Okay. So that's her. Her name is Amaya Shanice. She's in, I don't know, what is it, Zeta or whatever. There's a couple more videos I have of her.
Here's where Dion lives. Girlfriend.
Okay, and of course, there she is with, Kylan, the star of Bama Rush Season 2. So, oh yeah, she's a Zeta. So we can look at Amaya. Loves her white sorority.
Okay, so it's the first day of class at the University of Alabama. So in true Alabama fashion, I have to do an OOTD. My tank top is Shein. My sports bra is Pop Flex. My skirt is Pop Flex. I'm wearing my Hoka's Lululemon water bottle.
I've never heard of
headphones,
that.
Apple, hoops, and that is all. Have a great first day of class, guys.
Step inside, jump on the floor.
If you a Zeta at the University of Alabama, please come to the stage for a roll call.
Let me also just say, right? Like we even see like with Amaya, right? The reproduction of a certain kind of beauty. That girl who was like her, what do they call it? Rush crush or whatever. Her like younger sister literally looks like that's her sister. like, I'm like, y'all know each other? Like, where did she come from? How you find a black girl that looks exactly like you? Yeah.
This week, a hot new bombshell enters the villa.
Don't call me up, I'm going out tonight, feeling
this.
Right. So we're not remaking anything, okay?